Why are you still working? What are you doing here?
Well, I think what I'm working on has an important effect on the future. In the case of Tesla, I think it's fair to say that Tesla has significantly accelerated the advent of sustainable energy. Before Tesla, no one was doing electric cars, and now, as a result of Tesla, I think almost every major car company in the world is building electric cars, and I think that's a pretty big deal. But there's still a long way to go to transition the world to a sustainable energy economy, and so we still have a lot of work ahead of us at Tesla, but that's our goal there. And then for SpaceX, I think it's important for the future to be exciting and for humanity's existence to be ensured over the long term. I think we must become a multi-planet species and a space-faring civilization. I think we're here like 4.5 billion years after Earth got started, 13.8 billion years into the age of the universe, and it's only now, recently, in the last 5,000 years, that we invented writing. I would say date the first civilization by when there was the first writing, which was in ancient Sumeria around 5 or 6,000 years ago. So we've basically just been here for a very brief instant.
A blink.
All of human civilization is a blink of an eye, if there was an eye, on an evolutionary timescale. So I think it's important we take the actions to ensure that the light of consciousness continues, and because we should really view consciousness as a small candle in a vast darkness, and it could easily go out.
So you have these missions, and somehow, whenever you have the mission and you have this vision, and you are a visionary, that somehow, whatever you do, you develop other businesses. So when you started SpaceX, you didn't think about satellites. When you started Tesla, you didn't think about robots. When you don't have enough people, you didn't think about robots. And so you didn't think about autonomous driving. And without Elon, there would not be electric cars. Nobody who makes cars wants to make electric cars. They're being forced to make them. In fact, every time they sell an electric car, they sell one fewer car that they make money on. And they have all that money invested in plants that make those other cars. So nobody wants to have these cars except for him. And everybody thought it was going to fail. So, and one of the things you said is that patents are for the weak. And you share your patents. Yeah. And with other companies, of course, on the other hand, when they get your patents, you're 2 or 3 years ahead of them.
Well, I was joking about patents for the weak. I think there is a role for patents. Let's say if some company has spent a lot of money developing a particular medicine and had to go through the expense of stage 3 medical trials, and then they finally get something that is approved, but where the drug itself is cheap to manufacture, then I think a patent in that case makes sense. Otherwise, no one would go to the trouble of doing stage 3 medical trials. So there are definitely roles for patents. In the case of Tesla, our goal is to advance sustainable energy, and we can't just do it by ourselves. We need the whole industry to go that way. So we gave them our patents for free in order to help them accelerate electric vehicles.
So it must be terrifying to other companies to realize that when we make cars, it's $39,000 in cost of car, and we're making $15,000, $16,000 in profit a car. And so we invest $7 billion, and we make 1 million cars, 15,000, 15 a million a year on a $7 million investment. Shocking. So no one else does that. And when and here you're telling us how you want to make cars for $20,000 a piece. How do you?
We've not formally announced our next car program, so I can't talk too much about our upcoming vehicle program or programs that have not been announced. But we do expect to make cars that are more affordable than the current Model 3 or Model Y.
So you do all these different things.
No, that's literally me.
So do you?
This is not someone else who did this. I was living in the factory in Fremont and the one in Nevada for 3 years straight. That was my primary residence. I'm not kidding, literally.
Did you keep the couch?
I actually slept in a couch at one point in a tent on the roof. And then, but for a while there, I was just sleeping under my desk, which is out in the open in the factory, and for an important reason. And it was damn uncomfortable sleeping on that floor. And always, when I woke up, I'd smell like metal dust. But actually, I stopped using the couch because there's a little conference room and a couch there. I stopped using the couch and I just slept on the floor under my desk so during shift change, the entire team could see me. And this is important because, like, you know, the team, like, if they think the sort of their leader is off somewhere having a good time, you know, drinking Mai Tais on a tropical island, which I could definitely have been doing and would much have preferred to do. I'm not actually a masochist, I think, but the thing is that since the team could see me sleeping on the floor during shift change, just with nothing, they knew I was there, and that made a huge difference. And then they gave it their all.
So the focus is on always lowering cost and providing leadership. And this company, we're doing 1.5 million cars a year, but you expect to do 20. And so what happens in 10 years if you're not there? What happens in 5 years if you're not there? How's that work? I mean, are there all these people? So at all the engineering schools, the top engineering schools, the top choice of where everybody wants to work is Tesla or SpaceX. Yeah. Those two places. So do we have all these people coming up and fighting each other for the job, or they're working together? How do you get people to say, gee, I could buy that real expensive house, but I'm not going to do that. Boy, I could go out on vacation. I'm not going to.
Well, we do have that problem a little bit. So, you know, as a company has prosperity and then people become wealthy, then for a lot of people, once they become sort of independently wealthy, they just can't bring themselves to work, or they don't want to work, and that's totally, you know, understandable. I'm no judgment. And so, I mean, I have a lot of friends who are extremely talented, and they you know, had some success earlier in life, and they just decided, you know, that was enough trauma. I mean, you know, one of my good friend of mine saying, like, for starting a company is like eating glass and staring into the abyss. So when people tell me, like, well, what can you do to encourage entrepreneurs to start companies? I'm like, if you need encouragement, don't start a company.
So what do we get out of seeing back 13.5 billion years? What does that do for us? What technology do we develop? Or don't we know? We don't know until we do it.
Yeah, I think like there's two main motivations, I think, for becoming a multi-planet species and a spacefaring civilization, and then ultimately going beyond that to go to other star systems and explore the galaxy. And I think we may find that there's many one-planet civilizations that died out millions of years ago and never made it to the second planet.
Do you think in your lifetime that happens?
Well, it depends how long I live.
Maybe forever.
You know, if I keep increasing that enemies list, it might not be much longer. It would be deeply ironic if it's someone angry on Twitter that takes me out. So anyway, I think there's two reasons for life to become multi-planetary, life as we know it to become multi-planetary. I think one is the defensive reason, where I think we want the light of consciousness to not be extinguished if something were to happen to Earth. And you know, in the case of the dinosaurs, they only had to worry about, like, you know, meteors and supervolcanoes and other things. But for us humans, we actually have the power to destroy ourselves with nuclear weapons, or some sort of, you know, crazy bioterrorism thing. So, you know, so there's some danger that is not zero that could cause the end of life on Earth as we know it. So that's kind of the defensive reason to ensure that life is not just and consciousness is not only on Earth. That's the defensive reason to protect the future of consciousness. Then the other big reason, I think, is that it's exciting and it's adventurous and it's inspiring and makes it makes you think positively about the future, you know. And life can't just be about solving one problem or another. There need to be reasons to be inspired, you know, reasons that move your heart and say, yes, the future is going to be great. And when you get out, you know, when you wake up in the morning, I can't wait to see what happens next. And I think that's humanity going to Mars. Even if you don't yourself want to go to Mars, and most people don't, just watch it. It's a tough gig, frankly. This would not be a luxury expedition, and but you'd be able to watch it happen And I think it would just be incredibly inspiring to the world in the same way that the Apollo program was inspiring to the world. And like I said, life can't just be about solving one problem or another. We need things that make us excited and inspired about the future, and that would be one of them.